Swinging from street lights, I wish we could go back to when we went singing in the rain.
You are listening to Singing in the Rain, a podcast series that interviews artists, educators, and innovators who are focused on positive social change in difficult times. Singing in the Rain is a production brought to you by Claremont Lincoln University, CLU Live. Greetings, everyone. It's Dr. David Carter coming at you live again with Claremont Lincoln University. And you know, we like to bring guests on the program who are truly changing the world through positive social change and through all different types of expression. And I have with me a very special guest today. Well, go ahead and introduce yourself.
It started like this, pulled over at a red light. My heart skipped a beat with the sounding of police lights. I don't wanna go to jail, just lay my baby down before the ride. But what baby doesn't know is mommy won't be coming home tonight. And only God knows the reason why, and only I can serve the required time. I had to go against my will and it hurt my pride. Baby's waiting for mommy to come there right by his side. Truth be told, I'm a little scared. I'm not used to the jailbird atmosphere. I should have listened to my daddy when he said be still, but instead I kept it moving. Now I'm stuck in here. And I'm down on my knees with my head held high. And I'm begging God, please don't forget me this time. I'm getting stronger and stronger. Just have a little faith. I keep calling his name, and I'll be right on the way. And who knows if I'll ever get through. Trying to be patient and depend on you. I'm calling your name and my faith is renewed. Just give me the chance to prove it's the truth, to prove it's the truth. And I'm down on my knees with my head held high. And I'm begging God, please don't forget me this time. I'm getting stronger and stronger. Just have a little faith. I keep calling his name, and I'll be right on the way. Right on the way. Right on the way.
Wow. It's extremely powerful. Well, that was that was the most powerful introduction that I've ever heard or that I've ever asked someone to give. If you were stunned like I was, because I really was not expecting that, by that powerful voice that you just heard, that's Nelli Nichole, folks. She is one of the hottest up-and-coming artists hailing out of Louisville, Kentucky. If you have not heard of her, don't worry, you will. She is creating positive social change through her music. She's impacting the world through her music. She has a powerful voice and a powerful message behind that music, and that's why we've asked her to come here today. We want to learn more about that. Nelli, thank you for joining us. That was wow. It makes me want to be able to sing, but I can't. So I'll leave that gift to you. That's a powerful gift that you have. Tell me about that song, though. I'm really inspired by the message within that song. What's that song about?
When I wrote that song, I was at a pivotal point in my life. I was going through a lot of different things and situations, and I found myself getting pulled over at a light because, as you see, I was telling the story. I got pulled over, and I had no insurance at the time. Well, I was also in trouble for shoplifting in Indiana. Now, of course, you're young and you're stupid. You go through all these different phases, so that was totally not me. I was out of character. But when I was in jail, I had a moment where I was like, who do I look up to in times like this? Who do I fall back on? And it was just like, God, he's the only one that's ever been there for me at the end of the day. And I had to come to that realization. So I got my notepad and my pen, and that was my best friend when I was in there. And I wasn't in there long, but a month to me felt like an eternity. So, I started writing, and my emotions and my feelings were just coming out on paper. And, I cried as I wrote the song. And just, that song was what gave me, the momentum to be like, hey, you can get through this. And when you do get through this, don't go back to what you were doing. Don't go back to that stage in your life where, you'll find yourself back in here. So I just, I wrote that song to give me empowerment, and hopefully I expect that to do the same for others. And
that's certainly a powerful message for people, and I think it will inspire others. It inspired me. It's inspiring people who hear that. One of the challenges that I've found, being on the other side of that, is trying to teach police officers that there is another side. So you talked about the brake light, the tail light, the not having insurance, not wanting to go to jail, but often we don't hear that side of the story and how people's lives are impacted by that. So would you say that there is a key theme within that song or within your music that you're wanting to convey to people? Put another way, what message are you trying to tell with your music, trying to share with the world with your music?
The message that I'm trying to convey in that particular song is that, whenever you find yourself in a moment where you feel like you have no one to look up to, God is there, and he was my help. And I believe that if other people think the same way, that he could also help them in any situation that they find themselves in when no one else is there.
So it's offering hope, of course.
Yes, sir.
It's offering hope.
Definitely.
We're focusing on mass incarceration, looking at the problem of mass incarceration, the challenges with that, trying to take out different pieces and seeing how we can help as a university, how we can help as a team, and bringing people together to look at those types of problems and just sharing stories from the other side of life. Would you say that some of your music is telling a story that's not often told, that a lot of people don't know about, but we just go through our daily lives and we see someone pulled over maybe, or we see that scenario and we have no idea what's going on? Because you shared some real emotion with that within your song.
Definitely. I feel like some of the things that I sing about not necessarily are things that aren't happening, because I want to be able to have someone put themselves in my shoes, or have been there before and know how to get out of that situation. So I want to give situations that people are familiar with, that they may not, have the light shined on a lot of the times, but they're typically shunned upon, like getting pulled over, the small things. But those small things can lead to, bigger things down the road, repetition. Those things keep happening and you find yourself in the same situation over and over again. It's a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a cycle.
Definitely.
And so people can identify with that.
Yes.
And I think that's in part why your music has become so popular, why so many people are asking about it, and it's really catching fire throughout the U.S., in my opinion, at this point. I heard your music in California, and so I know it's catching a lot of different people because we all go through things. And I appreciate the fact that you're bringing that to the forefront, using your own art form. Overall, however, because you have a lot of different songs that you do, a lot of different takes that you have, you cross different boundaries. And I won't use the term multicultural. I will say that you cross every spectrum of music. I can't put you in a box. I tried to at first, and I really couldn't. When I heard your music, I said, wow, I can't put you in a box. Where does that come from? Has someone tried to, and I guess as you're going throughout your career and you're moving forward, has anyone tried to place you in a box to say you should probably sing this or you should be in that category? But you didn't listen if they did. Sir. What do you think?
Well, the funny thing about that is I've let many different people and different audiences listen to my music, and I've gotten the same response. I can't be put in a box. Can't be put into a particular category. Everyone's like, what is this? What's this new sound? I can't say country. I can't say R&B, but it speaks to me. It speaks life. So, as long as that's being done at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what category it's put in.
Right.
And, at the end of the day, it's not put in one at all. So that's what I'm trying to convey anyway. I want to create my own genre. I don't want to be put into a specific box. I want to be able to reach any and every kind of demographic.
Right,
so.
Right. And I think in part it's because you're touching humanity with your music, things that are common to us all, experiences that are common to us all. I want to talk a little bit, though, about the inspiration from that, because you spoke about one experience. Obviously, it seemed like a traumatic experience, but it brought out this beautiful music. Where does that inspiration come from with a lot of your songs and a lot of things that you're bringing out within your music?
I believe that inspiration comes from feeling like I didn't have a voice when I was younger.
Okay.
Which many people end up, in that position. And I feel like music was the only alternative way to get out of that without doing anything wrong. When I could pull out my notepad and my pen, I could put my feelings down, whether they were hurtful or not, but that would help me to voice myself. And then by looking at that layout of all the things that I were going through, I could nitpick what could make this situation better, what could make this thing that made me hurt better, and then to implement that into a song, it's like, okay, well, if I keep singing it to myself every day, then, and I see that it's inspiring me, then, why not sing it to other people? But, that's basically where that came from, having to vent to myself. And the only way to vent to me was to write it down, to write down all those feelings and those emotions and to be able to have an outlet for that.
Right. And it's so important. It's almost like therapy, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It's almost like therapy because you're able to channel that through into some other form.
Yes, sir.
But at the same time, you're providing therapy for other people through your music who've had that common experience because, again, it's humanity and you're touching humanity. So the inspiration in part is coming from that. I have that piece. What I don't have, though, is the love for music, which you clearly have. Where does that come from? Did you always have a love for music? I mean, you just love music. Even coming into the studio, you start singing, you're ready to go. You didn't really need any prep whatsoever. I mean, you are ready to go. The love for music, is that something that's just been common in your life, or was that developed over the years?
Well, as a child, I came from a family of, different musicians, singers, actors, stuff like that. So I kind of had that background, but as a child, my mother and my father started to see it more and more in me from, being with my older sister and singing books with her. She heard me sing one time and I was singing a book to her and she took me to go meet her friend and had me sing books to him all day long. I was just singing red, black, blue. Like it was the most hilarious thing ever. So to see that Nick in a child, that right there, let me know that, hey, this is something that I want to do forever. I couldn't stop singing from getting referrals in school, from not being able to stop humming and singing in class. That was just something that was instilled into me. And whenever I felt any kind of way about anything, music just, it was life.
And one of the other things to go along with that I think is so unique about you and really is so powerful about not just your story, but it speaks to who you are as an artist. I found out that you also write your music. And I have to say that because a lot of artists, they don't write their own music. They may sound good and they can sing the song, but you actually write your own music and you sing it at the same time. Has that always been a common theme, or did writing come along as you progressed in your singing as well?
Well, I've always been a really good writer. That was one of my favorite subjects in English. Yeah. And when I was really young, I never really thought about writing music. But then when I put two and two together, it's like I can sing and I write a lot. So it's like, if I can sing, then why not put these two things together and write what I'm singing, Because if I'm able to write what it is that I'm singing, then I can implement my own emotions behind it, and that's what people are looking for you to be behind your music. I could sing someone else's lyrics all day long, but I won't have the same feel or the same drive when I'm singing it. So, writing is the only way to go when it comes to music for me, because I want to write what I'm feeling.
You.
Yeah.
It's genuine.
Definitely.
It's authentic.
Yes,
of course,
sir.
yeah. And you feel that throughout your music. When you listen to your songs, you really feel that. You said a word earlier that I want to go back to because it's very important. So at Claremont Lincoln University, one of the things that we are about, among many things, is empowerment. And I love that word, empowerment. You spoke about empowering people through your music, but I wonder if you could tell me just a little bit about how you felt empowered to actually step up to a microphone and to start doing this form of art, to start actually singing and becoming an artist of your own. Did you always have that sort of empowerment, or were there mentors or maybe mistakes that pushed you in that direction? Because we really want to empower the youth today. We want to empower people in our communities, and it's a tough thing to do. But you seem to have had that for some time, just empowerment. Can you speak to that?
Yes, I feel like, growing up singing, it was, there's a lot of different people that sing and rap. So that kind of diminishes your hope a little bit when you want to become something.
Why is that?
Why is that? Because there's so many people trying to do the same thing, and you see so many people failing at it, you know?
Okay.
So you don't know what's going on, but you kind of feel inside that, okay, well, I'm not just going to be another one out here, you know, trying for 10 years and never make it. You know, it's the effort that you're willing to put in.
Okay.
So for a while, I didn't really understand that being younger. But as I continued to grow up, I had, you know, my big sister, which is now my manager. She's always been there for me. She's always had this nick and known that, hey, there's something special in her. You know, she's got the drive. You know, she just needs someone behind her that can help her. So I'm glad that I had that, because for many years I've wanted to sing, but I just, from hearing people say, you know, hey, you're just another one, you know, in Louisville that, you know, wants to sing just like everyone else. But people hadn't heard me yet. People didn't know that voice behind this little girl right here. Right. So to have that empowerment of someone behind me, like family at that was enough to be like, hey, I can do this. You know, somebody believes in me, and I've got God. So, you know, what can be against me? At the end of the day, why not put my both feet forward and press for the best, you know? Right. So
your voice goes out throughout the airwaves. People hear you. Speak to the person living in the difficult environment, or speak to the person sitting in the car who had the taillight out, who doesn't have insurance, who's about to go. If you had a chance to speak to someone living in a difficult situation, or they're in a difficult scenario, even at this very moment, what would you say to them? Because clearly you have been successful. You continue to be successful throughout not just this city, throughout the U.S. with your music. If you could speak to that person, though, who doesn't see the full picture, now we can look back and say, well, yeah, you were in that scenario, but look at you now. What would you say to them? Someone living in that difficult environment or in that space to, I don't know, inspire them, give them hope, let them know it's possible. What would you say to that person?
Well, first and foremost, I would tell them you are not your situation.
Oh, that's good.
You are not what you came from. You are not your upbringing. You are your own individual person. And if you've got a dream and you've got a drive, then you can do it. As long as you know, tune out all the negativity. Surround yourself with positive people, with positive sayings. You know, continue to press for the positive route. You know, don't let what people say and, you know, hey, you know, you came from this or you came from that. Don't let that sway you. You know, I feel like if you just keep pressing and you just keep motivating yourself, you know, and keep telling yourself, I am better. I am better than my situation. I am more than what I come from. You know, even if you're down in that and you feel like it's the end of the world and you've, you know, done something that you think you can't get out of, there's always a way out. Just believe in yourself and strive for it and tune out the negativity. That's your main thing, is if you can tune out the negativity, then you can create this wall of, hey, I can do it, you know?
Oh, that's good. That's good. And it actually segues into the last question that I have for you. And I'm so appreciative of your time and spending time with us today. But the negativity. So we live in a time of pessimism. We live in a time where if you turn on the news, it's probably going to be dark, and it has been for some time. But you're speaking life into a dark world. You're speaking light also into a dark world. Talk to me just briefly about the importance of love, which I hear you sing about, and also hope in your music, and not just how that comes out, but why is it so important? Because I hear it in almost all of your songs, that love, there's hope there. Why do you choose to incorporate that into the songs that you do?
Well, I feel like in this day and age, you know, that's what everybody needs a little bit of love. You know, a lot of the situations that we find ourselves in is due to lack of love, or lack of feeling like someone is there for us or someone is behind us. So we feel like we got to do things on our own, you know. And so we try this route, that route, and that route until we finally realize that we should have took route 1 instead of 6, 7, and 8 first. Right. So, you know, I feel like just knowing that you are loved and that you are beautiful, you know, and that there's nothing anyone can say about you that will change that. You know, once you get that into your mind, that's why you got to keep encouraging people. You got to keep speaking to people, telling them that they are, you know, bigger than what they think they are. You know, they can be whatever they want to be. And you got to give people that hope, you know.
So you have to continue to put the message out.
Definitely. Continue, strive to push
and
the
then
message.
Maybe faith comes by hearing. And
that's
maybe
right.
by hearing Nelli Nichole. Just maybe, right?
There you go, just maybe.
Just maybe. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. Folks, for everyone listening in across the land, Nelli Nichole, she's blazing the charts right now. She is blazing the trail for artists in her genre. And I don't even know if she has a genre. I mean, she's just out there. She's doing her thing, and she's an incredible artist, speaking love, speaking hope, speaking empowerment, and just really changing this atmosphere with her music. So Nelli Nichole, thank you so much for spending time with us today. And again, this is Dr. Carter with Claremont Lincoln University signing off, and we will see you again soon. Thank you. You have been listening to Singing in the Rain, a podcast series that interviews artists, educators, and innovators who are focused on positive social change in difficult times. Singing in the Rain is a production brought to you by Claremont Lincoln University, CLU Live. For more, subscribe, share, and visit us at claremontlincoln.edu.